Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sin Privilegios. My name is Adriel Dominguez, and thank you for clicking on my video. So, today I wanted to talk about self doubt. Um, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is people, especially when you're in your 20s or like college age, I think people assume that maybe if you're in college, you have it figured out, or maybe you think you need to have it figured out when you're in college. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need to have it figured out because I don't even have it figured out. One of the most funny things that I think people have said to me is, "Oh my god, you have everything figured out. Like, how do you do it?" And the truth is, girl, I have nothing figured out. Okay, I really don't. I don't think anybody does. Who knows? Maybe you do, but I'm here to say I really don't have anything figured out in my life. Um, Even now, I'm abroad, and it's been like one of my biggest dreams for like 3 years. And even being here, I'm still kind of like, a lot of the times I feel like I'm not really meant to be here. And I also kind of feel like I slipped through the cracks. Like someone accidentally let me into to this school. And I wonder, like, maybe I just got lucky, like coming into this program. And it really wasn't for me. I face a lot of self doubt, which is crazy considering that this was one of my biggest goals, and like I worked for it. And the reality is that nobody gave it to me on a silver platter. But I think it's perfectly normal for people to doubt themselves. And especially first gen, I feel like we go through a lot, and, we work harder. Many cases, we're way smarter. I'm not saying I'm smarter than anybody, but y'all are way smarter than you think you are. And even then, we still like question if we really deserve these things, because on the inside, maybe you just don't feel like that. Because I know I don't feel like that at all. So I kind of just want to talk about what that's kind of look like for me, and how I'm learning from it, and maybe this can help you in some sort of way. So here we go. I guess there's not like a specific moment I can pinpoint, like a moment where I'm like, oh, that started my self doubt. I think it's just been, as I've been growing up and trying to navigate an education system that I'm the first to go through. I didn't really have the answers all the time. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I kind of just faked it, um until I made it, which, it just like, it made me very independent. Don't get me wrong. I'm very independent. My parents have made me a very independent and strong young woman, but it did make me feel like second guess myself a lot of the time. Even now, when I'm doing homework or when I'm reading something, I second guess if I'm even understanding the material. And I think it's more like, I kind of think like, am I doing something wrong? Um, what if I'm wrong and everybody knows I'm wrong? Or like, just a lot of thoughts like that, right? It can make you feel out of place because you might feel like you're the only one struggling, and everybody else like seems super nonchalant about it and that they got it figured out. But I can probably see they probably don't either. And so now, how this relates to me in this current present moment, being far from home will do something to you, okay? Because, if you're Hispanic, and you're having a bad day, and your parents are similar to my parents, mi mamá siempre, if I'm like, se me antoja esto, she'll make it for me, you know? But now that I'm like across the ocean from her, she's not gonna come make me anything. Even if she wanted to, she can't. So it's just not a realistic thing, not for every day at least. I also like don't see anybody that looks like me here. I don't think I've had a conversation with somebody that like speaks full on Spanish. to my face in a minute. And I think self doubt especially comes through when you're out of your comfort zone. I feel like back home, I have a routine. I know what I like. I know what to do. I know how to get from point A to point B. And here it's like starting over completely. Like, I have no clue where anything was. I didn't even know where the grocery store was. I didn't even know, like even the culture here is different than the US, obviously. Um, it was just very hard. And it's also my first time moving out of my parents' house. Yes, at my big age of 20. Okay. But I've always lived with my parents, even in college. I still live at my parents' house. And so it was just weird. I think it was a lot all at once. But like Adriel a year ago thought that this was an amazing idea and she didn't care that I was gonna be away from home for almost half a year. So anyways, at first I think I kinda like disassociated from where I was, which even though the place I'm at is completely amazing, it's just kinda hard to take in and like really accept the fact that I'm here. And I'm just like, wow, I'm really here, but it doesn't really like register. It didn't really register in my head for a few days. I'm not gonna lie. I remember, which I briefly talked about in one of the other videos. When I was applying to come here, and the lady was like, "Do you even have enough money, like, to go?" Basically insinuating I didn't have enough. Like, I looked poor. That's what she insinuated. Because if I was white, she would have not said that to me. Anyways, and it made me feel like after that, I was kind of like, yeah, like, you're right, don't have any money. And I probably can't afford it. And I kind of just stood back and I let it happen. But I think that's like one of the most, recent things I can remember when I faced self doubt. And so it made me feel like she was right and like worthless and dumb for being so delusional of wanting to come study abroad. And it did fill me with self doubt. I mean, it was enough to like postpone this for a year because I didn't apply that year. I don't know. I thought coming here would make me not feel self doubt anymore. But self doubt is kind of just one of those things that likes to follow you around. And, especially when you're in a place that's new and you're learning how to live in a new space and be somewhere new without your family or your friends, it's very uncomfortable. And being in a new space finds like, doubt finds you in a lot of new, different ways. I thought I would feel confident being here, but it was kind of like the opposite of it. I think a lot of it comes from just being the first. I take it very seriously, and knowing that my parents, más que nada, have helped me make it so far, and my community. And even with this podcast, I think I can say that, like, it's brought me a lot of self doubt too. Mostly because I don't know if what I'm putting out here is helping anybody, which is the whole point of this podcast. And I don't know how it's like resonating with other people. I don't know if I'm actually being helpful. Um, and like, obviously, I sometimes look at views or like follows, which I try not to do because, like I said, I'm not doing this for any of that. But it makes you feel some type of way, like if what I'm doing is actually meaningful, if it has meaning, if all these things. I mean, you're watching me in real time question myself, right? And I think it's just a normal thing that happens to everybody. Or even when I'm like doing my essays or whatever for school here, I doubt myself. I'm like, does what I'm saying even make sense? Am I explaining myself? Am I understanding the material? And the thing is that you have to explain this stuff like face to face to the professors. And it can be very intimidating because they're just like asking you a bunch of questions, and obviously they're the professionals. I mean, I'm not. I'm definitely not. And I just feel like maybe to some extent I am a little bit hard on myself. And I just feel like every mistake is just gonna lead me to like fail, and that's completely not true. You're allowed to make mistakes, and I promise you the world is not gonna fall apart if you make a mistake. I think mistakes are very important when it comes to learning something, especially as a student, or I don't know, just part of life and growing up. You have to make mistakes in order to learn and to be a better person. And even though these things have made me feel uncomfortable, because I've been in a lot of positions where I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't, the environment is new, school is new, all of these things are new. I'm very grateful that I'm here because I've grown in a lot of ways I didn't expect myself to. And I feel like being in college has helped me realize that, like, even if you think you have it figured out, I think there's always room for growth. And especially me being so young, like I said, I think I've already said this like 3 times, but I'm 20 and I'm gonna continue changing a lot. Like, but I feel like right now, I've definitely hit a spot where I'm like, wow, I didn't think I would think about stuff the way that I do now. And one of the things that I like really doubted myself on is wanting to pursue something like my dream, basically, which I'm not going to say what it is just yet. But I had this really big goal, and I was like, I don't think that I can do it because it just sounds crazy to say out loud. And it's kind of like, who let this delusional little girl think that that was possible? But it kind of got offered, like, it didn't get offered to me. Somebody just kind of showed me that, like, hey, this is possible for you. You can do this actually. It's not something that you made up in your head. And it just like made me realize that all these little moments that I've had of like self doubt and just like being uncomfortable, not exactly knowing what's gonna come out of this, have finally like came together into this one piece and has shown me what I'm supposed to do. And it's basically like I saw the bigger picture. And it took me a long time to get here. And while growth does not feel good, it's very uncomfortable and sometimes painful. I mean, for me, I can say that it's been painful being away from my family and my friends. Like, I have cried. Sometimes I'm just like walking down the street to class and I cry because I want to be home and I can't be home. And before y'all come for me saying, well, like, you need to learn how to let go. It's my family, okay? And I've literally lived with my family forever. And I love my family and I love my friends and I love my dogs. And y'all don't understand how it's been, okay? But it's definitely being here has helped me in a lot of ways. And I think it's changed me, but not in like a way that I feel like a completely different person or like I'm gonna go back home being someone else. I think I'm kind of just blooming right now. Like, I was a little seed for a long time and then I grew into a plant and now my petals are starting to come out and I am starting to realize who I'm supposed to be. And yeah, um, being in these moments, one of the things that has grounded me, I would say, and this might sound silly, but I write down a lot of what I feel. And I actually wanted to show you guys. This is my journal that one of my best friends gave me. And it says, with God, all things are possible. Clack it, queen. She knows me. And I just kind of been writing my feelings down and just kind of my thoughts when I've felt out of place. But also, I've written some affirmations. And one of the things that I wrote was, I'm exactly where I need to be. And the reason I wrote that was, I think it's very easy when you're feeling self doubt to compare yourself to other people's accomplishments. Or like for me on social media, I see like people buying houses and stuff that are like 21, 22, and I'm like, what the heck? I don't think I could buy a house right now. Or just like, taking care of their parents. But like these people are influencers. Again, there's no point of comparison because I'm not an influencer. But I feel like it's something that everybody does. And maybe you don't compare yourself to influencers. Maybe you compare yourself to your cousin or your sibling or I don't know, your grandma or something. But I think everybody's purpose in life is different. I believe in a God that makes everybody distinct and he gives everybody his own individual purpose. But even in general, I think everybody has different life goals. And just because I'm doing a certain thing doesn't mean that it would align for you too. Everybody's path in life is different. And it's okay if you don't know the way sometimes. Sometimes it's just meant to be like that. And I think, there are moments where you'll feel lost, but somewhere along the way, it's going to click for you. I promise you, it's going to click and you're going to be like, oh, now I understand why I went through that. Or now I understand why this happened to me. And it's hard, but you have to remember or remind yourself that wherever it is that you are, even if it's one of the best schools, or maybe you didn't get into school you got into, I think rejection is just redirection. Okay, queen, you will end up exactly in the place you're supposed to be. I promise you. And when you think that somebody has it figured out, or you see somebody online and you're like, dang, they know exactly what they're doing in life, I can promise you that even in that moment, they are still doubting themselves, wondering if they are making the right choices. Nobody knows. Nobody has their life figured out like that to a T. I thought I had my life figured out like that to a T, and I've changed my mind about 3 times already. Okay, I was supposed to be in college for 2 years, and I'm gonna be there for the full 4 years. So just take a deep breath, and I promise you, everything will work out exactly how it's supposed to be. I think like one of the biggest takeaways here is self doubt is just, I'm sorry, you can't get rid of it. It's something you have to learn to live with, but you cannot let it define who you are, and you cannot let it control. You cannot let your brain and those lies control your direction in life. And you also can't let what other people think about you stop you from taking action for those things. Because, like I said, if that lady's comment would have really gotten to me, I would just not apply it ever. And I think you can't let people do that to you. There's this quote that I really like from Kamala Harris. And she said, don't let people tell you who you are. You tell them who you are. And I just really love that quote. And one of the things that a friend advised me to do, she said that when she feels like self doubt, she just writes a list of all her accomplishments at her favorite, at a coffee place or whatever, and just remind herself that she has made it to the point that she is in life, and she deserves to be there. And I think that's a good way to do it too, honestly. I think about the moments I figured out on my own, when I filled out my own college applications with no help, when I literally started Googling how to fill out FAFSA because I didn't know how to and watched YouTube videos. There's a lot of moments in my life where I'm like, I don't know how I did it. It just kind of happened. And it's proof that I am strong. And I think everybody watching this video has had those moments. So I need you to think about those moments when you're feeling self doubt, because you're literally giving your brain evidence that you're smart and that you can do it and you do belong there. Also, just being graceful with yourself. Like I said, I think I've always grown up to be pretty hard on myself, not only because my parents were really like hard on me, but I think just everything that I carry with me and just wanting to make sure that what my parents are sacrificing for me right now is worth their sacrifices. And so it can be hard to just kind of turn that off and realize that I don't have to prove myself every single day to somebody to demonstrate that I am worthy of it. You don't always have to be harder, like in that survival mode. You deserve to have peace and ground yourself and show yourself some grace when you feel that way. And it's okay to need help too. It's okay to text a friend or a family member or somebody that you trust, anybody that you trust, and ask for help. It is always okay to ask for help. You Humans are not meant to carry things by themselves. We are meant to be with other humans, and we legitimately need love from other people. That's just how we function, and we function that way for a reason. So don't ever feel like you have to handle anything by yourself. If you need help, please get help and don't be afraid to ask for help. There's no shame in needing some extra help here and there. What I want to end on here is that you don't have to have it all figured out. You deserve what you have. You are where you're supposed to be, and you're not behind. You're just becoming. So, I just wanted to direct this episode to anybody that is maybe feeling a little bit of self doubt in midterm season. I know it's rough out here, you guys, but we're almost done. It's almost Christmas time. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to get to. Just know, girl, I understand there. I've been there. To this day, I'm still there. I promise you, you're not late to anything, like I said. So give yourself credit for showing up, for trying, for not giving up. And even when you're tired, even when you're sad, still showing up for yourself is the greatest thing you can do for yourself. So go take up that space because you belong there. Get your rest when you need it. And maybe right now you don't have it all figured out. Maybe right now you don't even know what you're doing with your life, but it's okay. I promise you, everything will work out in the end. So keep going. And yeah, thank you guys. And you know what? If nobody's told you today, I'll tell you that I'm proud of where you are in life. Doesn't matter where you are. Not even talking if you don't have to be in college. None of that. Just know that I know that you've been doing your best. And yeah. Anyways, guys, I think that's all I'm gonna say for now. Um I've okay, now that you can click out if you don't want to listen to me rant a little bit, but I know that I said I was gonna do interviews, but it's really hard right now because none of my friends are here, and I really don't want to do Zoom interviews because I'm a people person. Like I just wouldn't enjoy it if I'm being completely honest. But I promise you, if y'all bear with me for a little bit longer until I get home, my goal is to interview people, and I even want to do like group discussions. So if y'all are watching this video and you know me like in real life, please reach out to me. I will more than gladly set that up. I kind of want to do group discussions just depending on what topics people want to cover. But those will probably come around February, which I know seems kind of far out, but like I mean, next month I'm still gonna be here until December, and then school for me doesn't start until February. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. If anybody has any topics that they would like me to talk about, I would more than gladly do that. Please give me ideas because sometimes I do struggle, which with like trying to figure out like what am I supposed to say. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end off there, And yeah, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Sin Privilegios. And I will talk to y'all. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.